With Valentine's Day just around the corner, you might be starting to feel it, that little bit of pressure building up. Well, it's a feeling Dr. Ronnie Rodas has noticed for years, and now he's actually giving it a name. So today, we're going to dive into his really fascinating research that unpacks what he calls the Valentine's Day effect.
So let's just start with the big question, right? Why does this one single day on the calendar feel less like a fun celebration and more like this intense, high-stakes deadline for your love life? It's a feeling so many of us know, and it's exactly what this research is all about.
And this quote from Dr. Rodas really gets to the absolute heart of it. He says it's a concentrated social signal. I mean, think about that. It's like a giant spotlight suddenly gets pointed at your relationship status, making something that's usually private feel incredibly public. So his whole research proposal, which he's calling Love on Deadline, is all about building a model to explain this feeling. He's trying to get a handle on what he calls romantic urgency. That sudden, almost frantic feeling that you need to find a partner. And it's all supercharged by the ads we see and the perfect couples all over our social media feed. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look inside what he calls the pressure cooker, all the forces at play. Then we'll see how Dr. Rodas actually plans to study this feeling. We'll even get a little sneak peek at some simulated data, and then we'll wrap up with why this research is so important. All right, first up, the pressure cooker. Let's really get into the psychological and cultural ingredients that Dr. Rodas says are mixing together to create all this Valentine's Day stress. Okay, so the first ingredient is, well, it's just human nature, really. It's something called social comparison theory. We're just wired to look around and see how we're doing compared to other people. But around Valentine's Day, that comparison gets laser-focused on one thing: romantic status. And it's so easy to feel like you're falling behind. Next, you pour a little gasoline on that fire with a very modern problem: FOMO, the fear of missing out. I mean, you open your phone and what do you see? Engagement rings, fancy dinners, huge bouquets of roses. It's a constant stream that makes it feel like literally everyone else is living out some perfect romance, and you're not. And the final piece of the puzzle? The commercial engine driving this whole train. Consumer culture theory shows how the marketplace basically hands us a script. It tells us that true love means buying stuff, chocolates, diamonds, you name it. So if you're single, you're not just without a date. You're left out of this huge, society-wide ritual. Now check this out. This simulation from the proposal really paints a picture, doesn't it? It's designed to show a clear, strong link that the study expects to find. The more time you spend on social media, the higher your FOMO. It's a pretty stark look at how our screens can directly feed that holiday anxiety. Okay, so we've got all these pressures swirling around. But how in the world do you actually study a feeling? That brings us to our next section, where we're going to look at Dr. Rodas's really smart plan for scientifically breaking this all down. Right, so the first thing you have to do in any research is define exactly what you're looking for, and Dr. Rodas nails it down with this term, romantic urgency. This isn't just, wanting a partner someday, it's that specific, intense, time-crunched feeling that you have to find someone right now, all because February 14th is looming. And to get the full picture, he's using this really cool three-pronged approach. First, there's a survey to get the hard numbers on things like pressure and FOMO. Second, deep dive interviews to hear the personal stories behind those numbers. And third, analyzing the actual ads and social media posts that create this pressure cooker in the first place.
And this right here, this is the human side of the research. The interviews go way beyond just data points. They ask these really direct, empathetic questions, like, what does the pressure actually feel like? Or what do you wish people understood? This is how you give a voice to what it's really like to be single on Valentine's Day.
So what could a study like this actually find? Well, the research proposal gives us a little sneak peek with a simulated data set, just to show us the kinds of things we might learn. Now, this is super, super important to get straight. What we're about to look at is not real data from actual people. It's a demonstration. Think of it like a mock-up or a test run to show how the analysis is going to work once the real data starts coming in. So this table might look like a bunch of numbers, but it tells a really powerful story. A correlation just shows how two things move together, and those numbers close to 1, like between social media use and FOMO, that suggests a really strong connection. And you can also see that interesting negative number for self-esteem and loneliness, which basically suggests as one goes up, the other tends to go down. And when you look at a chart like this, the simulation points to a pretty clear trend. The highest level of that Valentine's Day pressure seems to be hitting the youngest group, those 18 to 24-year-olds. And then it looks like it eases up a bit as people get older. Now, paired that last slide with this one, and a story really starts to emerge, right? The very same 18 to 24 group that feels the most pressure is also the group that's on dating apps the most often. It really suggests there could be a powerful link between the pressure people feel and what they actually do about it.
So this all leads to the biggest question of all. So what? I mean, beyond being interesting, why does studying the Valentine's Day effect actually matter in the real world, for our actual lives?
Well, the practical applications here are huge. This kind of research could help create media literacy programs to teach us how to look at ads and social media more critically. It could help counselors and therapists, maybe even push social media companies to design healthier platforms. And maybe most importantly, it could help normalize being single as a totally valid and happy way to live.
And to put this all into perspective, Dr. Rodas's work connects to a massive public health crisis. The U.S. Surgeon General himself has said that loneliness and social disconnection are as bad for our physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So by studying one of the big triggers for those feelings, this research is tackling something really serious.
Ultimately, Dr. Rodas's work is all about the power that comes from understanding. And it leaves us with this final, really important question. If we can really see the machine, if we understand where the pressure comes from, and know that we're not alone in feeling it, can we actually change our relationship with it? Can we start to disarm the deadline?